What's good, everybody? So I've been seeing a lot of people going crazy on Twitter and posting a lot of different videos talking about the Wandavision. So I decided I'm gonna do my best to try to catch a reaction as soon as possible. So this is me doing my reaction for whatever is revealed in this here episode.
Quick history on our subject. Born in Sokovia in 1989 to Irina and Oleg Maximov, both killed during an air raid when Maximov and her twin brother Pietro were 10.
The twins were subsequently radicalized, volunteering at Hydra.
It's an oversimplification of events, but yes. After unspecified experimentation with the Mind Stone, Maximov gained telekinetic and telepathic abilities.
Back up, Jimmy. Does Maximov have an alias?
No, sir.
No funny nickname?
Not a one.
And earliest tracking had her using her powers against the Avengers, is that correct?
Right before she earned their trust and became one herself.
Lagos and Germany, we all know how that turned out. Thanks, Jimmy.
How do you know about the stones?
Now that we got
The
the lay of the
Mind
land,
Stone.
let's talk about strategy.
But how did she even do it? Bring him back without the Mind Stone?
Who knows? But she has the world's only vibranium synthezoid playing Father Knows Best in suburbia. What happens when he learns the truth?
Again, you know all the stones, and it causes me confusion.
In the past.
She could have taken out Thanos on her own if he hadn't initiated a blitz.
How do y'all
Nobody
know
else came
that?
close.
Well, I'd argue that Captain Marvel came close.
Her powers came from an Infinity Stone too, right?
We are not talking about her. We are talking about Wanda.
Y'all better show me who at this damn door.
I wonder who is this?
Bruh. That goddamn Ian McKellen? No.
Almost broke it to squeeze his stinking sister to death or what?
She recast Pietro?
Oh.
Who's a popsicle?
This is not nearly as big as what was advertised and what was talked about. But, 'tis intriguing. So after watching that episode, I just have to say that I really hope that this cameo that they gave us with the different version of Quicksilver is not the big cameo that we heard hyped up during this past week between episodes 4 and 5. Because that cameo didn't really move the needle too much for me. Not saying that it wasn't good. It was a surprise. I thought from the gray hair, I thought it was Magneto, Ian McKellen. I was like, oh, they're gonna bring in a big gun from the original X-Men franchise or something weird like that. But that was misguided, and I didn't even think that they might bring in a different version of Quicksilver. It was surprising. But it just didn't really move the needle for me like I thought this cameo would. That being said, though, I still feel like the cameo to me is not the biggest thing from the episode that kind of shocked me. I feel like the biggest thing from the episode to shock me was the fact that the stones were referenced by Jimmy Woo and others. And they mentioned Thanos, and they mentioned Scarlet Witch being able to kill him before he called in the bombardment. And it's weird because in every other Marvel property, they always allude to the fact that regular people don't know exactly what's going on with the Avengers on these battles and on the battlefield. So the fact that it was brought up here and just mentioned we know So my thought would then be, why would you call the blip and not the snap if you know about the Mind Stone and these other stones and how they fit together on this glove that Thanos had? Like, if you know all that, why don't you call it the snap? Why have it never been formally referred to in other properties? I don't know. Maybe that's me reading too much into it. Maybe that's other people catching things and reading too much into it. But for me, that was the biggest takeaway. The switching of the Quicksilvers is not the biggest of deals. I hope that we get some really weird stuff and we get to see Aaron Taylor Johnson show up, because his version wasn't bad. It just, we didn't get enough of him. We got like 30 or 40 minutes of screen time of him. The X-Men version of Quicksilver was much better and kind of more fleshed out, and his scenes were such blow-away scenes in each one of his appearances. So it was cool to see. I want to see how he plays a role going forward. I'm excited about it, and I really hope that we get to see some crossover with that version of Quicksilver and the Aaron Taylor Johnson version of Quicksilver. It'll be dope to see them two play off each other, especially with that kick-ass background between both versions of Quicksilver. That'll be fun to see if it plays a role into the show if they happen to cross paths. But besides that, rock solid episode, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I know my reaction might have been kind of different, but it was fun trying to get that thing captured and get it put on the screen for you all, and you know, just subscribe to the channel. Come back and see more of those like reactions that I do, as well as, you know, spoiler chats, movie talks, and all the other things. Anyway, enjoy yourself, guard your heart. Come back and see me next week when we get to talk about whatever happens next week.